This is the only way I can mark my afternoon walk as done. Not a button, this tag. Hidden in a park 10 minutes from my house. I added NFC to my habit tracker so I physically cannot lie to it. No scan, no straight. And today we are building this with React Native and Expo, $10 of NFC tags, one application, and 0 excuses. And at the end, we have to go hide this thing without anyone noticing. Quick thing before we start, my team and I are opening up spots for 1 or 2 clients who are serious about their application. We take it from zero all the way, planning, building, publishing, maintaining it, a real long-term collaboration. We've been building mobile applications for years. It's what we do. And if you're building on your own, I also open a few one-on-one spots. 1 hour with me every week for a month or 2, depending on the project. Going from idea to app store together. If that's you, please send me an email. It's right here in the description. So here's the thing about NFC. It's been in your phone for like 10 years at this point. And we also use it every day, and things that honestly have become a little boring, like tap to pay, hotel keys. I think that's it. But lately, something shifted. For example, this is Brick. It's a physical device that blocks distracting applications on your phone. You want Instagram back? You have to physically walk over and tap it. People love this thing. And here's an app called Push-Up Time. It locks your applications until you do push-ups on camera. People are paying real money to make cheating harder. Meanwhile, in my habit tracker, you can only press a button to mark a habit as done. But how do we know that you actually did it? It's a bit boring, so today we're fixing that. So in a previous video, I built this habit tracker using Fable 5, and I actually use it every day. So here's the plan. I'm attaching an NFC tag to each habit. A tag on a book, want to mark reading done? I scan the book. A tag hidden in the park, no scan, no walk, no strike. You can do the same for the gym and any habit that you can think of. This just adds a bit of extra friction. In my opinion, makes it more fun and makes the user accountable of their habits. And this is everything that you need. A pack of NFC stickers. It's like $10 for a pack of 30. So pretty cheap, and you probably already have some at home. Every phone since the XS reads this automatically, and Android, it's been doing it even longer. Okay, so before we write any code, we need to know 2 things about these NFC tags. Number 1, there's no battery in here. It's a tiny chip and an antenna. When your phone gets close, the phone's field powers the chip just long enough for them to talk. That's why the whole pack cost $12, and why a tag basically lasts forever. And the second thing, the NDEF message. The tag's entire storage. Mine hold 888 bytes. That's less than 3 tweets. And that's the part we get to write. We only need about 60 of those bytes. We are storing 1 link. And that's the whole trick behind the feature. When you attach a tag to a habit, my app writes a link into the NDEF. So tapping the tag opens the right habit. That's it, but it also saves the unique identifier, the fingerprint. So if you're thinking, I'll just save the link and open it from my couch, nice try, but the fingerprint is unique, and if it doesn't match the habit, there's no checkmark. The link is a convenience, the unique identifier is proof. Okay, that's all the theory. Let's build it. Today we're using React Native NFC Manager, which helps us bring the NFC feature to React Native. It's a solid choice, and it works great with Expo. So in my application, let's start by installing the package. Now we need some extra configuration since NFC needs to enable the actual NFC capability. So to enable the capability, we need to add the following plugin into our Expo configuration. So I'm just gonna copy this, go back to my project and open the app.json. In the plugins array, I'm going to paste the React Native NFC Manager. This is all I need to configure at the moment. Now I'm gonna show you an example of how this package works. It allows us to write to the tag, and this is the API. We can also read from the tag, and I think that's all we need. So I'm gonna have Claude do it for me. So I asked Claude to create a prompt to add this feature. So the main feature is that we can pair a habit with an NFC tag. Once paired, the habit can only be marked complete by scanning that exact tag. So this is a commitment device, not a security system. The goal is friction against cheating yourself. I have a couple notes on the pairing UX. Before I walk you through that, I'm just going to start working on this. I'm going to paste the prompt and ask Fable to create the plan. Okay, so now it's working. Let's go back and actually see how this will work. Basically, we're going to prompt the user to scan the blank tag. So this is the first time set up. We need to write the record, and we're going to store basically a link with information like the habit ID that is paired to that specific NFC and a little secret. Then we also need to save the tag's unique identifier. This is going to be saved locally, and this is just to make sure that the same tag is used to mark the habit as done. Now there's a couple of caveats, right? We need to have the ability to unpair a tag because, someone could steal it, or maybe it could be damaged by the rain or the weather outside. So you might need to switch tags, but in that case, we're gonna add a 24-hour cooldown. So this means that you cannot cheat, because if you want to change the tag, you at least need to wait 24 hours. This also prevents that, I detach the tag and mark the habit as done and then attach the same tag again. And of course, life happens, so there's gonna be a skip with a reason option. Maybe you're sick or it's raining outside. In that case, the strike survives, but the skip is locked. Okay, so taking a look at the plan, Babel is asking how we want to manage the links. It's recommending to have a domain, a universal link for the linking and that stuff. But since I don't have a universal link at the moment and my users will download the application first before setting up a tag, I feel like we can just use the scheme for now, at least for version 1. So I'm just gonna select the scheme. Now, another little caveat at the moment is that my application is iOS only at the moment, and NFC also works with Android, but for now, to try to keep things simple, I'm just gonna select iOS. The skip with reason feature is gonna be available only for habits that use NFC. And I think that's good. Let's submit the answers. Okay, so after a moment, Babel 5 is done, and I recompile the application, and this is the moment for the real test. Let's check it out. Now on the settings screen, I now see the required tag scans. Let's turn that on, and I'm gonna edit these habits, and I can find now the pair NFC tag at the bottom. Let's turn that on. I'm gonna bring it here. Okay, there we have it. Ready to scan. We got it successfully. It's now paired. Let's press save, and now let's try to mark this as done. Now this is gonna ask me to scan the tag, so I can scan it here, and boom, now it is completed. Now let's actually check the validation. What happens if I try to mark this as done with a different tag? Ooh, and we have an error. Wrong tag, so you cannot cheat. Another cool feature of the app is that the app could be literally killed right now, and my phone is sleeping, and suddenly I tap it and it's going to detect it right there. We can press it, and this is gonna deep link into the application. Right now I need the local server, but once this is in production, this should deep link directly and mark the habit as done. And if you try to do it again, it's gonna let you know that it's already marked as done. Now, in case you want to complete it like this right now and just cancel, it's gonna ask me if I want to try again or skip today. So if you skip today, you can select an option, but also you can try to get clever and say that you want to disable or unpair the tag. So this is gonna let me know that it's gonna stay locked for 2 minutes. Of course, you can change this. But yeah, let's unpair it. Unpairs in 2 minutes. So you can change this to be 24 hours. Let's press save. And I can still not do it, so people cannot cheat. Now, if you delete the actual habit, you're gonna lose the entire history, right? So you don't want to do that, of course. Now, for those who are wondering about the code, here's a file that Babel created, which basically contains the entire logic of the React Native NFC Manager package. It also combines crypto from Expo Crypto. A couple of important things is that we need to make sure that NFC is supported, which, to be honest, I expect everyone to have a modern device nowadays. So NFC Manager has is supported function. You can call it like this and then return the according response. Here's an interesting function. This is the tag URL function, which basically uses the app's scheme plus a habit ID plus a secret created with Expo Crypto. So the process when we pair the tag, it's basically get a new secret, then we call request technology. This basically shows a native form sheet that pops up, and then when the user scans, we will get the tag. Once we get the tag, we make sure that we have an ID, and then we actually encode the URI. Once we have that, we can call the write message passing the bytes, and then we show an alert saying that the tag was paired. That's pretty much the entire logic. Then when we verify the tag for a habit, again, we request technology. This means we present the little form sheet. Once the user scans the tag, we again validate that it's a valid unique identifier. And then once we do that, we can just return match, which means, it's a valid tag, and we can just go ahead and mark the habit as done. If you want to learn more about the technical details of this implementation, including the database and permissions, configuration, and the why behind every single line of code, I made a technical blog in where we go in depth into this implementation and explaining everything step by step. You can find it in the Code with Beto blog. The link is below. This application, by the way, is available in the App Store in case you want to check it out. The link is in the description. The source code is available for our pro members in our GitHub organization, and it could also be available to your agent through our MCP server. In case you want to learn more, I'm going to leave the link to the Code with Beto MCP server in the description. And if you want to learn how I built this application using Fable 5 from scratch, check out this video.